We're talking kettlebell swing, the foundation movement for all kettlebell exercises. To start things off, we want our toes in line with the kettlebell, and then we're going to rotate our foot out 90 degrees and back 90 degrees. Out 90 degrees, back 90 degrees. This gets us a solid starting position. We want to hinge at the hips. If you think about karate chopping your hip line, it's going to push your hips back. This is not squatting down. All right, so we hinge at the hips, and then squat down to position if you need to lower yourself to the kettlebell. When we grab the kettlebell and we're bringing it back, we're going to receive it in our groin. When holding the kettlebell, think about snapping the handle. When you do that motion of snapping the handle, you're going to tighten your back down and keep your back engaged. So we'll hinge at the hips, squat down to get the kettlebell. When we pull back, we're going to receive at our groin. And then to bring the kettlebell forward, it is an explosive motion through the hips. We are snapping forward, squeezing our glutes, engaging our posterior chain. The kettlebell will float up. You don't necessarily want it all the way up above your head, and you want to generate enough power to where you're bringing the kettlebell about chest height. Then the kettlebell is going to float for a second and start descending. Once the kettlebell reaches about your belly button is when you're going to start the motion of receiving the kettlebell to your groin again. So you'll bring it up, and then as it comes down, you'll start to lower down. Again, you want to hinge at the hips. You do not want to squat down. So let's do some kettlebell swings. We are going to hinge at the hips, lower down to the kettlebell, focus on snapping that handle, receive it in the groin, explode up. Explode up. Once it reaches the belly button, you can lower down. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the glutes. And it's as simple as that. And you're off to the races. This is the start of a beautiful thing called kettlebell training.